The European Union Aviation Safety Agency is an agency of the European Union with responsibility for civil aviation safety. It carries out certification, regulation and standardization and also performs investigation and monitoring. Section 4.3 It collects and analyzes safety data, drafts and advises on safety legislation and coordinates with similar organizations in other parts of the world. Section 4.3 The idea of a European-level aviation safety authority goes back to 1996. But the agency was legally established only in 2002. It began its work in 2003. Section 4.3 Based in Cologne, Germany. The agency was created on 15 July 2002 and reached full functionality in 2008, taking over functions of the joint aviation authorities. European Free Trade Association countries have been granted participation in the agency. The United Kingdom was also a member until the end of the Brexit transition period on 31 December 2020. The responsibilities of the agency include the analysis and research of safety parameters, authorizing foreign operators, and advising the European Commission on the drafting of EU legislation. It also implements and monitors safety rules, gives type certification of aircraft and components, and approves organizations involved in the design, manufacture and maintenance of aeronautical products. As part of Single European Sky 2, an initiative to standardize and coordinate all air traffic control over the EU, the agency has been given additional tasks, which were implemented before 2013. Since 4 December 2012, EASA is able to certify functional airspace blocks if more than 3 parties are involved. The EU Commission is proposing to further expand EASA mandate to act the European Performance Review Board, with a clear separation of national supervisory agencies and air navigation service providers. In 2012, the European Court of Auditors found that the agency did not have an agency-specific conflict of interest policy and procedures. EASA did not obtain or assess the declarations of interest for staff, management board, board of appeal and experts. In its report, ACAR declared that the worst performer among the 4 was the EASA, based in Cologne, which failed in all 4 areas that the report analyzed: on experts, staff, management board, and board of appeals. It was recommended that the organization adopt its own ethical standards because the then existing condition exposed the agency to a substantial crisis of credibility as well as the incidence of favoritism and conflict of interest. For member countries and other stakeholders, fairness is of paramount importance. This is because the European Union has been increasingly strengthening EASA's role, giving the agency independence. A discussion regarding the permission for the agency to impose financial penalties for safety violations is also underway. EASA is responsible for new type certificates and other design-related airworthiness approvals for aircraft, engines, propellers and parts. EASA works with the EU member states as national aviation authorities and issues repair station certificates for repair stations located outside the EU, which permit foreign repair stations to perform work that is acceptable to the EU on its aircraft. EASA has developed regulations for air operations, flight crew licensing and non-EU aircraft used in the EU, which applied since the required European legislation to expand the agency remit entered into force. The legislation was published on 19 March 2008. The United Kingdom is no longer a part of EASA as it left the European Union in 2020. In addition to the member states of the Union, the countries part of the European Free Trade Association, i.e. Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland, and Iceland, have been granted participation under Article 129 of the Basic Regulation and are members of the Management Board without voting rights. There are also numerous working relationships with other regional and international authorities. For example, EASA cooperates with most of the EU's Eastern Partnership member states through EASA's Pan-European Partners Initiative, in which countries such as Armenia, Georgia, Moldova and Ukraine cooperate on the implementation of EU aviation safety rules and comprehensive aviation agreements. The agency publishes an annual safety review with statistics on European and worldwide civil aviation safety. Some information derives from the International Civil Aviation Organization and the NLR Air Transport Safety Institute. On the 28th of September 2003, the agency took over responsibility for the airworthiness and environmental certification of all aeronautical products, parts, and appliances designed, manufactured, maintained or used by persons under the regulatory oversight of EU member states. Certain categories of aeroplanes are, however, deliberately left outside EASA responsibility, thus remaining under control of the national CAAs. Ultralights, experimentals, and balloons are a few examples. They are referred